Yo, what's going on, everybody? Andy's Crypto Talk here. Oh, we got the wrong screen up. Let me change that. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay, so now that you're not seeing picture, what is up? And welcome to Andy's Crypto Talk. Tonight, I just wanted to do a specific video on the Citadail ecosystem and not ramble off about a bunch of other things. I want to stay focused because I feel like sometimes you can have alpha with a focus, and if you have a focus, it can get you better risk rewards, right? So they do say the man who chases two rabbits catches none. So I want to focus on Citadail tonight. I wanted to look at the little bit of reviews of the announcements that we have had in the past day since I've done a video. Of course, since Tolly followed, since the agent, and I didn't explain this on my live last time, they started the agent, they named it Cordell. Now, when people see a name on X, on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now known as X, it causes a list of pump fund tokens to start creating tokens, essentially. So you'll see a list of any of these, popular hyped communities. If a name gets dropped, it tends to turn into a token. So we saw this post here that he said we're not launching or associated with any agent token launches, and it was after they did release the wallet address, which let me see if I can grab it for you guys here. Agent Cordell's live. Assets are in the DAO. I don't remember where I have it, so just give me a sec here because I think I have that address. Oh, I do. Okay, so I'm going to just send it to my... Is that it? Did I send it? Let me see if I can open it from there. Oh yeah, open in tab. There it goes. So here's the wallet for the agent, and it has 1.4 million Citadail, and we can see here something happened. Oh, it did. It bought some Pengu Buzz, and then it sold it. But back here, near the beginning of this wallet, we see something happening right here, that this wallet, which is the agent's wallet, and they doxed it. They said this is the agent's wallet, the agent's name is Cordell, and of course someone launched an agent Cordell on Pump Fund, sent half of the supply to the agent Cordell wallet, who then dumped the $200,000 worth of tokens for about 35K. $35,000. So this thing had like 200 Solana to start because someone created a token and just sent it to this address. it's, you know, like, I get it, there's rugs every day, all day. I'm actually stoked about this because it gave this like seed investment essentially to the DAO. Oh yeah, so I did 22. Or did they give it 22? I don't know what happened, to be honest. It's kind of crazy. But long story short, it got a seed investment now of 200 Solana that, you know, it bought 50 SOL of Citadail and 50 SOL worth of the Citadail HF token. And I think at this point it's just going to have an easy time, considering we were only going to start with 20 Solana. So now Citadail is going to start at this point, you know, it had a 105 Solana, but it looks like it bought something else with it. I'm not sure what. Again, I think it bought Buzz, but I don't see, like, there's no other holdings. So it's only got Citadail HF tokens that it's holding in there. I know it bought Citadail as well, though. I just don't know. I don't know if it's holding it in here. It might be holding it somewhere else. Oh, right. They sent it to the DAO. Okay, so if we go and look in the Citadail HF DAO, yeah, they sent it to the DAO. So it's got now 8.78 million Citadail, whereas it had 8.5 million is how much was bought from the original Solana. So pretty crazy now to see this, you know, 368,000 in the net asset value or assets under management, with 388,000 in liquidity, which is, it's pretty deep pockets. You know, this thing has fluctuated. It's now at 5.4 mil. It's just, it's sitting steady. I think we got a chart. We had a chart up with it somewhere. There it is. Azura. So you can chart this bad boy on Azura. And we can see here, you know, it made this first push up, correction, second push up, retesting these highs, correction again, but a higher low, pushed up from there, had one last kind of, you know, blurb, like this little bit of a blurb just on this kind of trend, right? So one last escape velocity hit, you know, I think it almost hit 10 mil, to which we're seeing now a correction back down. So just looking for this thing to come back out, and it's just going to continue up. This is like a solid chart. People are timid and fearful, but they need to realize the rest of the market is also taking a bit of a break. I mean, look at this weekly. This is crazy. This thing just started. You know, like, this is early, and look at the market. It's just red. Everything I'm scrolling by is red, except for BNB and Ton. Everything is red, 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 red. Right? So, like, the rest of the market's getting kind of pummeled as well. It's not just one thing or another. We got Poloniex, we got CoinEx, we got KCEX, and we actually got MEXC today. And speaking of MEXC, I actually am talking to them about a little bit of a partnership. Now, I am still waiting for them to fulfill their end of the barter, and they have to pay me still. But it is a sponsorship for MEXC, and I'm going to use all the payments as giveaways. So everything I get from them, I'm going to be giving back to you guys. There'll be information on the next video about how to enter and all that stuff once we've got kind of our promotion plan sort of set, because it's basically gonna be like just so you guys can get ready for this, you'll sign up to MEXC and deposit like 50 bucks and trade under my referral. And if you do that and then send proof, then you get entered to win a $50 draw. So you basically like win your money back. So I'm giving you guys 50 bucks to gamble for free. So yeah, that's gonna happen probably in the next couple videos. Anyways, guys, back to Citadail. So Citadail. So we had this, we were looking at this sort of triangle, which looks like, you know, it bounced on the edge of it and broke down. Okay. So now this, like, it's not the end of the world when things break down. It just gives better entries to, people that want to become community members, because this is not like a short-term play right here. This is like a longer-term type of project, right? So it's going to take some time to really play out. Like we saw it even in the beginning. It's not like a meme coin that just like runs up forever and ever and ever, and then it goes pumping down in the same sort of fashion. We have a lot of strong-armed chads in this, and we have the guy that's taking us to Valhalla. You know, we have the Jeets are out at night, aka Degen, taking us to Valhalla with him. And we're still looking good. We're still looking uncy, as I would say. We're still looking good. On the 1 hour, I would draw up this box range and say that this is kind of the support that we hit. So we're at support now. And I would say this is sort of the area to look for it to stay within. And as you can see, like, you know, we closed back inside. On the hourly candles here, we closed back inside. It was a deviation to the downside here, and we closed back inside. So it's looking fine, to be honest, right? Even on the 15 minutes, we didn't close underneath there, right? So that's one thing to consider. And if we look at the nearmost 15-minute trend here, you know, we can see signs of attempting to push and break out of this downtrend. It's been a very sharp downtrend since sort of 2 a.m. when we had that last spike up against this trend line that's been forming. And then once we rejected there, we rejected at the halfway point of kind of that box range, which we have lined up here. But this is also a really nice line I put in here because, excuse me guys, you can see the inflection point that it has on a lot of price movements, whether it up into it or on top of it. So like kind of hitting this underside a lot and then bouncing on top of it, breaking down through and hitting it underside, breaking back underside, over top, bouncing on it a little bit, you know, underside. It's really under overing on this line. So I thought this was a great inflection point. 38 mil is like a prime point for us to move up ahead and push through. Where is my, I always get lost in that box. So kind of what I would like to see is some construction like that moving out of the weekend. Now it could take some time. You know, we could see this kind of go sideways for a little bit before it kind of makes that construction to the side. It could be way over here, right? So today's the 10th, 11th, you know, maybe even a little further. Tough to say. It could take some time because we do see this on weekends a little bit quieter. So we can see here it would have been the 4th, 5th last week. yeah, 4th, 5th, right? So coming into the weekend, 3rd, peaked up, it broke down, it rejected, it broke down, it rejected, it broke down, and then it consolidated sideways before one last breakdown just before the weekend ended. And this was kind of like, yeah, 4th, 5th, I said, right? So 5th, right coming into, 2 a.m. on Monday, it just started shooting, just rocketing up, right? So Monday to Friday, we saw this grand push. The past 4 days, it really rocketed, and especially around, what would that have been, Wednesday? Tuesday, I guess Tuesday the real push happened. By Wednesday at 4 a.m. it was sort of starting to cool off a little bit. So if we see this as a weekly, sorry guys, if we see this as like a weekly thing that might play out like this weekly, because it is a hedge fund, right? So it's Monday to Friday. That's when they're doing business. Weekend, they have a little bit of drinks, they smoke a stogie, get a steak, relax a bit. I just think we're going to see these consolidations likely happen on the weekends. Let's see how long did this last consolidation last? 2 days, 13 hours, right? So like from Friday after work until like Monday hours, right? And we can see this one from the spike. Surprisingly, it's 2 days, 15 hours. So what I think is that people thought, okay, this thing's gonna pump on the weekends, and then it's gonna, pump on the weekdays and then dump on the weekends, and pump on the weekdays, dump on the weekdays. So people started kind of like, they acknowledge this information and then they will act upon it in a certain way. So that's the one thing I would consider, is that maybe people are front running this. So that having been said, we could definitely consolidate here for a little while. Although I would look at this this sharp trend downwards on volume, which we could potentially break out of soon. So there's a lot to sort of take in about this project as well. So due to confusion, I think we're underpriced still. That's why the spikes up happen so violently. And then it takes some cool off time where, again, confusion sort of settles in. People don't know. Is it the Citadail? Is it the Citadail HF? Which one do I buy? What's going on? Why do you have two tokens? What is it? How are you an AI agent? How are you involved with Griffain? I did do the Griffain sort of demo presentation on my last live stream, so if you want to check that out, just check out my live streams. But yeah, I mean, we're involved with Griffain. We saw Griffain alongside, again, the rest of the markets taking a corrective dip, and then having a really strong recovery from 320 all the way to 430. It really pushed up in about 16 hours. And then again, we're having another little dip on Griffain as well. But this could look like a really nice inverted head and shoulders now. And if it consolidates there and kind of makes a rounded bottom, and then once it crosses kind of above here, you're going to see some fireworks on Griffain as well. But yeah, guys, Citadail, I think looking at this on my charts that I normally show you guys, on the daily, we don't even have anything come up, right? Because this thing is just basically vertical. So taking a bit of a breather here before it continues on further is much needed. It is ideal. I just wonder, has it taken enough of a break? And I think it probably has. We're, you know, within 12 to 24 hours of the break being over. And if we look at it on a little bit lower time frames, when my sort of channel starts pulling in here, you know, we can see we're still wide open on this one, guys. On the 10 hour, it's going up. On the 4 hour, it's still going up solid, and it's actually just testing the shortest moving range, which, what one do I have for that one? I'm not even sure which EMA I have for that one. That's a 34 I've got right now on the EMA there. I got the 34 and the 60. So it's touching the short, so that's bullish. Bouncing off here would be bullish, really bullish. On 2 hour, we can see the trend is starting to pinch a little bit, and we are in sort of the bearish on the 2 hour, and same with the 1 hour then. 1 hour is squeezing together tightly, and it looks like this is where we want to see like a nice bounce. Otherwise, it will continue some corrective movement sideways for a little bit. It's definitely possible we could see an intermittent bounce like this one here, to which we have one last corrective move down, and then we solidify the next move up. But either way, what I would look for is kind of like this one, where you do have what looks like a W, where the left sort of ass cheek is higher than, or lower than the right, sorry. So that's generally nice to see, right? So same with here, we have kind of like a W form, and we can see even inside here it's kind of like a W form, where the right ass cheek's a little bit higher than the left. And that's kind of what you want to see for next bullish move. And it looks like we could be starting to form one right here, right? Something like that, some little butt cheeks, and move up like that. Otherwise, again, we could have kind of an up and then one last butt cheek down. Oops, I did that wrong though. So it could be like one more before we do this last sort of up. And then, you know, you would probably have something like that happen before we overcome this top. That even doesn't look too bad as like where we could end up. That actually doesn't look too bad on where we could end up. I'm not as a fan of this happening though, because I think, again, I'm personally in the camp that they're front running. That people are starting to kind of catch on to it and they're front running it. So like it's totally possible that we just do this. It's totally possible we create this little inverted head and shoulders right here, and it's off to the races. So anything is possible though, guys. Really what I would pay attention to more on the trend to see when this picks up again is watch this, just watch this downtrend line, and then watch for your, as we can see, lower highs. So once that starts turning into higher lows, that's when we're gonna send. Okay? Now that's also something I would pay attention to, because this is a bit of a trajectory, right? And there's a chance that we're underneath this trajectory here. So this could yield a little bit of danger as well. However, if we look at a more broad term trend, I would debate that this is more relevant at this point for us to look for the long base in this, because this is a sharp trend right here. So I think, again, if we lose this sharp trend, it's not the end of the world, because we still have this base to come onto, which is sort of like, this is the base trend of the breakout from the initial wave pump that we can see. This is like, this was our spike up into a new all-time high, and then it retested down before it's sent to this new all-time high. So this is kind of the real trend that you should care about breaking. This is the one where you have more fear of it breaking. This more near-term trend, this is like spike up trend. So it might break. That might just have to happen. And like, I mean, we did break it, whether this is a deviation or not, you know, on like something like the 4 hour, because we see that, you know, that trend on the 4 hour, it can potentially deviate and just come right back up. You know, look at it on something like the 2 hour, right? So we could just be spiking underneath that a little bit. On a 3 hour trend, it could deviate back in one candle, although it only has 27 minutes. But it was just up there, right? Like, we were just looking at this. It was just up there. It just needs to make it 31, 32. 31, 32, and then it's back in that range. Anyways, guys, I think that kind of explains enough of that. Let's look at a couple little clips we had here. Let's look at this couple little clips that we had here. Yeah, so this one was released today. Given 10 SOL, what would you invest in? This is one of the first questions they asked. And they came with Pudgy Penguins, Hive AI, and Radium token in a 3-3-4 Solana sort of split. And I believe they just allowed it to do that. So it just bought up 10 SOL of these tokens that the AI said that was a good decision. Now, I think they realized that that's not exactly what they want. So they started to focus on getting Cordell trained properly with newer, smaller AI projects with more profit potential. So as we can see in this picture, they have, you know, the Citadail HF token, 95 SOL, and they said, I also want suggestions to be tokens related to artificial intelligence projects, right? So they're getting trained up so that this thing can invest in AI startups, basically, in the cryptocurrency markets. Now, we all know how hot that is and how big that's becoming, so I don't have to talk too much about that, but we will dive deeper into some more AI projects in the next videos. Like I did in my last live, I went into Griffain and I showed you guys some prompts. This, what you're looking at here, this is Griffain, right? You can see this is, they even generated this image for Citadail, was generated with Griffain. Okay, so this thing is going to be a life tool for anything you need. They're going to have thousands of agents in here, and they're all going to be, I mean, probably only be like hundreds that really like hit, but it's going to help us The one last thing I wanted to mention, that Citadail did launch on MEXC, which is super crazy and funny that, you know, I partner up with MEXC to give you guys rewards and things like that. So I'll put the link in the description. It's just going to be tinyurl.com/MEXC Anjoy, ANJOI. Okay, guys, so I'll put the link in the description. And we're going to keep our eyes to the prize, just like Jakey here. Just like Jakey. We're going to play this little Jakey clip kind of as we head off for the night. You know, where is that? Oh, it's that one. We're going to play this clip for you guys heading out for the night. One last look at the Citadail chart. You know, this thing is bullish. Again, looking at prices to come up and then send into this 75 to 150 mil range is kind of the next targets for us here. And I'll leave you guys out with this Jakey clip about Citadail.
I want to say something's too big to fail, but it just makes so much fucking sense. Tony's just such a gangster, and it's a working fucking product that has so much room to grow. And then, like, you go down the line of, like, the ecosystem that Griffain is. You have Citadail, and then you have Citadail hedge fund. When you have layers to an ecosystem within an ecosystem, you can't not be convicted, because the Citadail hedge fund, and then the Citadail meme coin, and then there's a Griffain coin. I don't consider the Citadail and the Citadail hedge fund as derivatives or beta. They're a part of the ecosystem. They've been adopted. That's where I think psychological thinking comes into play.
And with that one, we're going to wrap up. Have a good night, y'all.